Okay, it's a brew day. It's about to rain here in a couple hours, so I'm trying to get started quick, as we can see. Some overcast. But anyways, I got everything ready. I'm about to crush my grain. This is a recipe for a rye barley wine that I came up with. I'll share the recipe later, but just letting you know, I'm starting to crush the grain here. It's a 10-gallon batch. It's a big, really big beer. It's supposed to come out to be like 10%. So I actually don't have my mash tun's not large enough, so I had to split it up into two 5-gallon batches, and I'm going to use 2 mash tuns, mash at the same time, and then put it all into the keg, blend it together. So that's my plan. So we'll let you know. We'll keep you up to date. Bye. Brew day today. Actually got my dad helping me out. He ran upstairs real quick, but this is a barley wine and I skipped everything, so sorry. Wasn't able to show you. We're done with mash and we're filling up the kettle now. But basically it's a big beer, and it's so big that I had to use 2 mash tuns, so that's why I got 2 things draining in here. It's a rye barley wine. We've already mashed, we've already sparged. I've already used the pump to sparge. Everything you've seen in the last video. If you want to see that, you can go watch my brewing a Hefeweizen video or my brewing the pale ale video. So there's not much to see. That's why I didn't film it. The only difference is I'm using 2 mash tuns, and we're gonna have a lot of hops here. Got a lot of hops lined up. Some more over there, and I'll keep you up to date from here on out, I guess. Okay, so we are in the boil. I've added my first hop additions. A lot of hops. Let's see, over 4 ounces of hops on the first addition alone. This is going to be a 90-minute boil, by the way. I'm adding some corn sugar. Actually, this was actually part of the recipe. This is not because I messed up on the efficiency or anything like that. It was written into the recipe before. However, I will say the efficiency was a little bit low, as expected. I don't know how many of you guys out there have brewed really big beers like this, but the original gravity on this thing was supposed to be 1.10. When you're doing an all grain that big, your efficiency is usually around, on a homebrew system like I have, it's usually around like 60%. It gets lower the higher it goes. That's normal. So when you brew big beers and you get low efficiency and you're wondering what happened, that's normal. So you either have to account for it by adding more grains to account for it, or get better equipment. Look at this thing, it's going crazy. But that's normal. So I knew that was going to happen, so I built in 1 pound of corn sugar into my recipe. The pre-boil volume that I was supposed to, or the pre-boil gravity that I was supposed to get was 1.098 with 13 gallons of pre-boil volume. Well, I was only able to collect 12.5 gallons of pre-boil volume, and I got a starting or a pre-boil gravity of 1.075. So a little bit low, but we're gonna make up for it with the corn sugar, and we're gonna boil off, you know, some of that. So that's 12.5 gallons. Once we boil down to 11, that should raise it up about 5 or 6 points. So we'll be at 1081. Then we're gonna add a pound of corn sugar. That'll add 5 or 6 points, 1087. And I think I'm gonna, because I'm using the same amount of hops that I would be, even if it was 1.10, I'm gonna add an extra pound of corn sugar. So I'm gonna add 2 pounds of corn sugar. So hopefully this should be around 1.09 or so, which is a pretty good size for a barley wine. So that's this. This is a good one to show you on video, just to let you guys know that that's normal. You can look it up. There's plenty of articles on Beersmith about brewing high gravity beers and how efficiency gets lower, and tells you some of the solutions for it. And one of the solutions is just add more grain. That's what they say. It's really hard to, hold on one second, this looks like it might boil over here. Okay, yeah. anyways, they say I add more grain, and because on home brewing equipment, there's like a fundamental limit onto the efficiency you can get when you're brewing 10 beer, 1.010 beers. So if any of you got more information on that, if any of you guys have brewed a 10 beer completely from all grain without adding any corn sugar or anything like that, let me know what kind of efficiency you got on it, and let me know what you did. Different sparging techniques and equipment and things like that can make a difference. So anyways, I'll come back here in a minute with our 30-minute edition, and we'll do that. Huck, Finn, Huck, hey Finn, hey Finner, Hucky, Huck, good boy, Huck. You're on YouTube. Alright, we'll be back. You're going on YouTube so you can watch yourself. Alright, my dad's here helping me brew. And we are... Cheers! He's cheers in a Miller High Life. Cheers! And we've got 10 more minutes left, and then we'll add our Citra hops for our third. Alright. So we've ended the boil. Look at all the hops. Hop heaven. Alright, so we're going to let that sit for about 5 minutes or so while we get everything connected. We're going to clean out these carboys, and then we'll start the pump and the therminator. What do you think?
Cheers.
Okay, so now we're running through the wort chiller, through our ice bath, and into the fermenters. Right now I've got about 2.5 gallons on this one. Filling this one up. We're going to do 5 gallons on each of them. Still got a lot of beer in here, so everything seems to be working properly so far, but we'll see. I added 2 pounds of corn sugar, and I'm going to take a gravity reading later because I don't know, we'll see. But anyways,
cheers.
Alright, this is his first brew day. He's excited.
I've been doing all the work.
Yeah, whatever. Alright, so we'll be back in a bit. I realized in the last video, or on this video you're watching now, I forgot to film a lot of stuff. So I just thought I'd give you an update on what happened towards the end. We ended up with a final gravity, or original gravity. This is for the Barleywine of 1.087. I ended up adding 2 pounds of corn sugar. It came out to be about 58% efficiency. If you look, I'll put a link in the bottom of this video where you can read an article on this. I don't feel like pulling it up right now, but basically, there's an article, a good article by Beersmith about brewing big high gravity beers, and in there they say 60% efficiency is about normal. The reason being is you're limited by not only the equipment you're using on the home brewing scale, but more importantly, you're losing sparge water essentially. The more grains, so for a bigger beer you need a lot more grains, and because you have a lot more grains, that means you use a lot more strike water, but you're still making the same batch size. You're still making a 10-gallon beer, so you may have about 7 or 8 gallons already in just from the strike water, so that only leaves you with a few gallons for sparge water. So you see what I'm saying? Like if you make a 10-gallon beer that's a original gravity of 1060, you'll have a lot more sparge water than a 10-gallon beer with an original gravity of 1.10, because there's much more grain in that one. So you lose a tremendous amount of efficiency just from that. So brewing big beers usually requires you to compensate for that. So when you're developing your recipe, you need to assume 60% efficiency, and that'll cause you to have to use a lot more grain, and it'll be a lot more expensive, but that's just how it is. But this is a good article, so read it up. So yeah, we ended up getting about 58% efficiency, 1.087. I ended up adding 2 pounds of corn sugar, which is nothing on that. It comes out to be, I can look that up. corn sugar, 2 pounds. Yeah, it's only 4% of the total grain bill, so it's not even a large percentage. So it's not going to really affect the flavor or anything like that. It's just going to boost my alcohol by about, looks like it boosted it about 9 points. So, let's see here. I see something else actually. 9 points, is that right? Yep, 9 points, okay. Sorry, I need to messed up my recipe. There we go. Okay. But we still ended up adding the same amount of hops that we would have anyways. So I planned this recipe assuming I was going to get, 1.10, which I should have known better. This is really only my second big beer like this, so I should have known I wasn't going to get that efficiency. But I ended up using the same amount of hops, so it was supposed to be a 1.10 gravity beer with 120 IBUs, which would be about normal, but it ended up being a 1087 beer, but it still has 120 IBUs because I still use the same amount of hops. So it's going to be pretty bitter probably off the get-go, because this is an American style barley wine, so it's supposed to be hoppy. But the good news is that's going to allow pretty good for extended aging, which is what I want to do. So I'm wanting to age. I'm going to bottle some of this and age it for a good year or so and try it out, because that's when barley wines usually are at their best. So with that extra hop bitterness, that'll be good because it'll mellow out over time, so that's not a problem. The initial beer might be a little bit bitter, but anyways, it's downstairs now. It's less than 24 hours from when we brewed, and I woke up this morning 12 hours after we pitched the yeast, and the yeast were just going at it, man. They were fermenting hard and strong. We already had I didn't put a blow-off valve on it because it was in a 6.5 gallon carboy, and I thought that would be good enough for this, but it took off, and one of the carboys, the lid or the airlock popped out on it. And so I've cleaned that up and stuff, but it's going good. It smells delicious down there. I have those two barley wines going, and I have the pale ale that I brewed last Tuesday. It's still fermenting as well, so that's going to be good. I got to rack that one soon and dry hop it. That's the El Dorado Pale Ale if you watch my previous video. So anyways, I thought I'd just give you an update. I know that this video didn't have much content in it. What I'm going to try to do from here on out, I'm kind of figuring out through trial and error what I kind of want the direction for my YouTube channel to kind of go into. I know a lot of guys have different things they do. There's malt liquor drinkers out there who all they do is drink malt liquor, and that's their thing, and it's cool. There's people who do beer reviews, and that's all they do, and that's cool as well. So I kind of trying to figure out what the direction my channel is going to go, and I'm liking what I'm doing recently, where I'm brewing, but I'm also chronicling equipment and new equipment specifically that I buy. Working out the kinks. There's always problems when buying new equipment. You always run into issues, and I think it's probably beneficial to all of you if I hit the problems first, and then I can explain on camera. You might run into this problem. This is how to avoid it. This and that. So I like that kind of direction, brewing, showing you new equipment, showing you how to do things, suggesting new equipment to buy, that kind of stuff, kind of as I go along and do it, so you can kind of follow. So like I said, you can watch a couple of the videos of the last two. I used my March pump and my Therminator, both of which are fairly new pieces of equipment. And I think I've worked the kinks out in both of those. I think I've got them working. I will say, the Therminator I left in Star Sand for longer than I should have, and it kind of oxidized or corroded it a little bit, so there's a little rust spots on it, so it's not in, it doesn't look bad, it's just a few little spots. If I would have left it in there longer, it probably would have done worse, so be careful with that. That's first warning. Star Sand, if If you want to sanitize it, that's fine, but you got to make sure you dry it, air dry it really good, and don't leave any star sand in there, or else it can cause rust and things like that. So what I do now is I back flush it. As soon as I'm done using it, I back flush it with hot water from the sink to shoot out any hot particles or anything like that. And then I put it in PBW solution. Once again, another thing I've noticed is if you put it in too much of a concentrated version of PBW, it can damage the metal on there as well. So make sure you use the recommended amount of PBW that's on the side of the can. I don't tend to measure things, star sand and PBW. I just kind of pour in as much as I think I need. The Therminator can get damaged visually from doing that, so I'm not going to do that again. So those are some things that I'm talking about. You know, I think this is a good direction for my channel to go. Occasionally I'll throw in some random videos, beer review here, or me drinking a beer, just talking, things like that. I mean, it's not going to be just focused on brewing and equipment or anything like that, but I kind of want that to be the theme, I guess. It'll give me a good excuse to buy more equipment, which is always good, and it'll help you guys out along with me, so I can work through the problems. I know I use homebrewtalk.com a lot, and other forums and websites and things when I'm trying to figure out stuff, and the best resource, whenever I have a question, honestly, the first thing I do is go to YouTube, and I try to find someone who made a video, because for me, watching it on a video and seeing someone actually explain it is a lot, not only easier to understand, but it's also time, you know, it saves time. Scrolling through 1,000 forums and threads, you have to go through 50 pages to get an answer sometimes. That's just not that convenient. So I like YouTube, but the problem with YouTube is not a lot of people, there's not a lot of troubleshooting kind of stuff on there. So whenever I run into problems, I'm going to record it, put it on YouTube. I'm going to let you know what the problem was, how I fixed it, and then whenever I get new equipment, I'm going to start showing you on YouTube, showing you how it operates, how it works, how much it costs, is it worth it, is it not, according to my opinion. So far, everything I've gotten so far that you've seen, everything I've bought has been totally worth it. So everything that I have that you've seen in my videos, I would highly recommend. There's some things more than others that I would say you would need. You know, I went for a very long time without having a pump. Now that I look back on it, I don't know how I ever did it without a pump, but I can tell you, you know, it's a nice thing to have, but obviously it's not 100% necessary. I brewed for 6 years without a pump, so you know, it's obviously not a necessary thing, but it's very nice to have. Therminator, same thing. I mean, you avoid ice baths and things like that, and you know, you work your way up. You start doing ice baths, then you buy a nice copper wort chiller, then you get the Therminator. So it's kind of a path, a rite of passage, I guess you'd say. But yeah, so that's the direction of my channel. So I'm gonna let you give any comments or suggestions in the bottom here. Let me know if you like that idea, if you think I should do other things. But it seems like I've been getting a lot of views on the brewing videos mostly, and a lot of comments and questions through email and through YouTube messages and things like that. So I kind of feel that's what my channel is being used for right now. So let me know if you guys agree or disagree. I know there's several good people out here who do these kind of things. One that I would very highly suggest, who's helped me out tremendously. He's one of the guys that I said, you know, before I even go to Homebrew Talk, I search on YouTube, and half the time I find stuff on his channel. Is Bobby from New Jersey. If you're watching, Bobby, your videos are awesome. You're doing pretty much the same thing I'm talking about here. He even has his own website, his own business now. I think it's brewhardware.com. Hopefully I got that right. I've ordered from you before, so I have it in here. But check out his stuff. He's really into tinkering with stuff. So like when it comes to converting a kegel to a or converting a keg to a kegel, or creating a mash tun and stuff like that. He's really good with that kind of stuff. So he makes really good videos. So check out his channel. But anyways, like I said, there's plenty of people out there doing that kind of stuff. So, all right, guys, this will be it for now. Sorry I rambled on so long, but I think it's important that I let you know where I'm trying to go with this and get your feedback on it. Look forward to a video coming up soon about a hop challenge, an IPA challenge that we're going to try to do. SJ Poor, Stumpy Joe Jr., both of them said they were interested a while back. If you're not anymore, you can let me know. That's fine. But I think it'll be fun. So I think these YouTube challenges, home brewing, well, I won't call them challenges. These YouTube experiments are very helpful and beneficial, and we need more people to join in. So if you're watching this video and you brew, join in on these experiments. They're fun. They get a group of guys together. We all kind of do our own, come up with a recipe, brew our beers, and we exchange them together and try and film on camera us drinking them. So it's a good time. So leave your comments, suggestions in the bottom, and I'll see you guys later. Cheers.